All right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for the S63 SHL Draft. We're excited to have you guys after the holiday break. We hope everybody had a great holidays. We hope everybody had a great New Year's. Finally getting back into the swing of things with the SHL now that we're all in a time with everything slowing back down. We're going to be opening up the draft with the Winnipeg Aurora making the first selection. Best of luck to all the teams and best of luck to all the draftees. And congrats on you guys making the next step in your SHL careers. Best of luck with the draft, guys.
Thank you, Nair. Welcome you guys. As you may know, may not know, I am Seven, the GM of the Carolina Kraken. I'm joined by some other JGMs today as we celebrate some of our rookies making this next step. I won't waste any time since we're already a little bit behind. The first pick has been in for a few minutes, and I am proud to announce that with the damn it.
Video, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and Ace sent it to me. I don't know why.
I have it. I can send it to you again.
I have it. I
Okay.
just gotta go pull it up because I thought I had it ready and it didn't play. Uh, Come on. Mm, breaking this beautiful setup that we have. 1 second. Excellent. Here we go.
Hi, I'm TSN Hockey Insider Bob McKenzie, and it is my great pleasure to welcome everybody to the Simulation Hockey League Draft Announcement 10A. And with the first overall pick in the SHL Draft, the Winnipeg Aurora pick from Nynäshamn, Sweden, who spent last season with the Nevada Battlehorn, Elias Ekholm Gunnarsson.
Hey. Oh, wait.
What a crafty pick, if I do say so myself. So congrats to the Winnipeg Aurora on having this first pick and choosing Elias Ekholm Gunnarsson with that first pick. Good luck to everybody in the draft.
And there you have it. Jess, welcome to why? Oh my God, that should see Nevada. Cool. Excellent. I broke this while fixing the other. I see. Let's try that again. There we go. We're back on track. Welcome to Winnipeg, Jess. How has the last couple days been for you in the scouting process with Winnipeg's trade recently? What's that experience been like?
Just hectic and overwhelming, honestly. I've never felt this wanted.
I can confirm that she was in my DMs all week talking about that.
The angsting at Jared nonstop.
But yeah, I mean, obviously Winnipeg's gone through a bit of a renovation recently. You mentioned them being one of the top destinations in your media piece, as a few teams, but Winnipeg obviously had the capital to make that happen. How did that go from the start? Was Ace like, hey, like, how do you feel about Winnipeg, or were you pretty open in approaching different top teams?
No, I didn't initiate really anything, honestly. I think I harassed San Francisco like last year, but I had not really. No, I didn't. I kind of kept myself. But yeah, no. Ace was great throughout the process. Rashford is amazing. So and like the whole team has just made me feel very very special this whole way.
I'm glad that you've had a good experience. Congratulations. Not really a surprise to see you go 1 overall. Maybe a bit of disappointment that it wasn't LAP.
I had really good talks with LAP. I had really good talks with a lot of people. Honestly, it was just so
you having quality conversations with
that
people. I'm surprised.
Right.
I mean, there's probably 19 teams right now who are disappointed.
Jert, are you telling me that Seattle's not disappointed?
Well, no, the Aurora is not, because they picked her.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. They might not be disappointed. That does take us to the 2nd overall pick in this year's SHL draft. Hopefully this will show up properly this time. But it would be Bodie, Utah, Leoben out of Quebec City. One of the top recruits in the draft class, obviously. Slid to the back end of the first round in the J draft. I personally was a little bit surprised to see them fall that far, and was a little bummed that I didn't hold on to 10 overall through the entire process last season. Yeah, congrats to Leoben. What do you guys think of this pick?
I mean, yeah, I was sure because I was on the verge of picking him as well last season in the J draft. That if I wasn't picking him, he would go on next or the second next pick. So definitely a great pick for Manhattan. We've loved having him in Finland as well with his previous player.
Yeah, I think it's a good fit, and we mentioned last year in the draft that Manhattan had a lot of first gens, and they were surrounding them with quality recreates, and I think that this continues to kind of play into that that path of you want to keep like sort of a healthy mix of first gens and recreates. Like first gens bring that energy, recreates bring that experience, and finding good personalities to put around your recreates can be a really valuable thing.
Yeah, and I spoke with Eva not long after the draft, the J draft, and she was very happy that Leoben fell all the way to her pick.
No, for sure. I like I said, like I was sure that he would be gone. Like there were obviously other people I was also considering at 10, but I was sure that he would be before then. Our 3rd pick is in from the Tampa Bay Barracuda. And this is the first pick of Bromanov's tenure as GM, which is pretty exciting. And congratulations to Sabres fan Sisyphus Ambrose on his way to the Barracuda down south. One of a couple St. Louis players that are pretty high on the draft boards of a lot of teams. It's nice to see so many Scarecrows, honestly, up there on the TPE listings. That team sort of getting back into the swing of things is always good to see for the league. Sabres fan being a recreate, but not a recent recreate, kind of brings that mix of energy and veteran presence. Like they've been around the block, but it's not like they're coming fresh off a past player, so they have some of that new energy. Like this is their first experience going through like the FHM era and everything like that.
Uh, yeah, well, I don't know Sabres fan a lot, but I can say that this is a great name.
Oh yeah,
player.
Sabres and Habs fan were two recreates from a while back that have been sort of enjoyable presences in a pretty small draft class. Jess, have you gotten to interact with either of them in the last season or so?
Not really. I interact with everybody like being a rookie mentor. I get to see everybody kind of interact and mingle, which is a lot of fun. So like, I feel like I have kind of a skewed on it because I see kids all day. I say kids. Some of them are probably older than me. But I see these people talk, and I'm like, okay, all of these people are great. So by the time it gets time to the draft, I like have no perspective on which of them are actually better.
Yeah. No, you get to interact with them like right at the start, and then not as much as the season goes on.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to Montreal, who's finishing up, hopefully soon, their retooling, their rebuild. The expansion team that focused a little bit more on present players and then flipping some of them for assets down the line. Montreal is now headed by Infidel and co-GM'd by Brickwall. So fresh couple faces. Infidel obviously being around the block a few times, but a fresh couple faces as they look to sort of collect a good solid core of J players to sort of make a push coming into the next calendar year. I think their pick is in. The card is loading up for me right now. And that would be the return of Jerome, Tim Riggins, to Montreal. Jerome being a White Goodman on the Patriots on his past player through Montreal's expansion. It'll be good to have Jerome back in the locker room for sure. You guys both... I don't know if Jert did, but I think you guys both got to interact a little bit with Jerome as he was a former JGM. Sorry. Brings a lot of experience, has obviously experience in scouting and running a team. It's going to be valuable to keep him in and around the war room for sure.
Yeah, I think Jess might have interacted a bit more with Jerem. But when you see a guy like that used to be a huge part of your team without being the GM, you try to get your hands on them as much as possible.
For sure. I think he's been a great pickup for Kelowna, getting him closer to the end of the first round. But yeah, that's a definite veteran experience who's already like tied deeply to the team. So that'll be you don't want to let that get away from you and get on to another team and lose out on that, especially when you're Montreal and coming up with not an established like administration to your franchise. Infidel actually just DM'd me saying, calling me out for calling him, saying he's been around the block. Dude's seen some stuff in the SHL for sure. Our 5th overall pick is in, and speaking of recently hired We were talking about Infidel coming in last year, Promanov being in Tampa Bay now. We also have Wally leaving the Calgary Dragons and becoming the head GM of Toronto. And with his first pick of his tenure, he has chosen Ergonomic. Funnily enough, the name, the corresponding name to Standing Desk of Infidel, but Bad Wolf out of Carolina.
Graphic is amazing.
Graphics phenomenal. I love when we get to do like just head swaps onto hockey player bodies, but Bad Wolf obviously, as Jert, you and I all know, is a pretty coveted locker room presence. Demanded quite the trade value in the J draft. Was super excited to bring them into Carolina and get them involved in our locker room to obviously build upon that deep culture that we have. I think this is a great pickup for Toronto, specifically their ties to a established J team that puts out a lot of SHL ready players. There's obviously deep connections to the J as a whole. If you're looking at how to retool/reconfigure a team that you're taking over, it makes a lot of sense to bring in somebody like Bad Wolf, who's got a lot of connections and is fully prepared to contribute a lot more than just a player to an organization. We have Nauer in here. I can only imagine what that might mean.
I will be able to clear up and give you an answer right now.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. What you got for me?
We've got our first trade of the draft coming in for pick number 6.
Okay.
So what we've got here is Minnesota owning the pick and sending it away to Philadelphia. In return, Minnesota is going to be receiving 10th overall from Philadelphia, as well as Philadelphia's S64 second and the Edmonton S65 second that they also own.
Okay. So you say Philadelphia is moving up from 10 to 6, or is that or they're just buying that pick?
That's Philly moving up from 10 to 6.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that is, of course, exciting news, seeing Philadelphia move up. Any off-the-cuff ideas of who that might be for you guys? If you haven't already spoiled yourself.
Yeah, I just...
You spoiled it.
The thing as you were saying that, so I'm not going to answer that question.
Fair enough. Obviously, this class, as we wait for this pick to come in, this class is a little small. Do you think that increases or decreases the amount of trades and like anxiety among GMs as far as like moves that they're trying to make and things like that?
Well, given that this is pretty much the same class that we drafted for last season, I know for myself it was my first draft as GM too, but that's something else. But it was very stressful to and especially when you threw a curveball at everyone trading for first overall, but
as the draft starts,
uncertainty, and I was picking up an expansion team from the season before, so you can't really miss on any of those players. You don't want to take any chances, so I believe it's going to be the same thing for those teams who did not capitalize on the season 62 draft, which was as great a class as I've seen in the SHL. If you were not in a rebuild process and didn't own a lot of picks for that one, and we're hoping to get back on track with this season 63 draft class, you really don't want to miss.
Mm-hmm.
So
All right. Well, the pick is in for Philadelphia, and with that pick is the pick that you actually made as JGM, the rookie TPE leader, Sam Emerson, the last Racklid out of Regina. Obviously, a highly touted recreate. Strongly desired by both you and by Philly, obviously. What kind of guy are they getting in Racklid?
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that guy. Obviously, there's a huge time zone difference, so he's not gonna be in the locker room exactly at the same times that most of the people are, but that doesn't stop him from being one of the most important presence in our young locker room in Regina.
Mm-hmm.
He's of a well, Emerson is one of the youngest players, but Heraclid is pretty much our oldest user on the team, I believe. So he's there. He's helping out with the rookies, keeping them invested. So can't go wrong with that pick for sure.
No, I definitely I like the move out of Philly. If they were looking at the short board and looking at who they might get at 10, and they wanted to move, like, I think it's a fair price to pay to move up. We'll go to San Francisco on the clock. Jess and Jert, has anything surprised you so far? I guess also welcome Ham, if you're in your car or you're back home now.
Frequent grocery shopping. I seem to pick a lot of different places for a draft. I think for the J draft last season, I did it from the gym. So yeah, nowhere I can't do a draft for fun.
Yeah, so Ham will be with us in a little bit. I kind of peer pressured him into doing this. Any big surprises for you guys in these first 6 picks?
I mean, it's not that surprising considering the teams that own the pick.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're just talking ranks, I did not expect Bad Wolf to drop out of the top 3.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair.
And you can see how different teams would like Montreal with Riggins, with Jerem, obviously. That makes a lot of sense. But seeing Bad Wolf at 5 is really the big surprise for me.
Mm-hmm. No, I was actually surprised by Infidel going with Jerem over Bad Wolf. I don't think either of those are wrong picks, but I know with how close the two of them are through like their JHO stuff and their time on the site, I thought there was a chance that I could have seen Bad Wolf going for, especially pairing up Ergonomic with Standing Dusk. Our pick from San Francisco is in now, and that is the other older recreate that we mentioned actually from earlier in this stream, Randall Thor, Habs fan from Ontario, out of Newfoundland, one of Ham's boys. One of the top scorers this rookie season. Top 5 pick from Newfoundland. Nam, if you're there, what kind of guy is Habs fan? What's he bringing to the table?
Oh man, how do I put this nicely? No, honestly, it's one of those things I heard from, I think, JNH, that liking HIFO, as he said, is an easy way of saying it instead of HFFO, it's a mouthful. Liking him is never a problem, and honestly, I can totally see it. I think everybody's really just been drawn to him since we've had him as a DFA. It just was a no-brainer in picking him and having him in this one. So San Francisco is going to get just another character in the locker room.
Mm-hmm.
However he turns out in terms of earning, that remains to be seen. But I don't think they're going to regret this choice whatsoever just by having his presence there.
Yeah, I love also that San Francisco went to pick up Toast this past offseason, or in this offseason, and continues to surround him with Newfoundland players in the most toxic line for HLO and Agent Smith.
Yeah, that's those connections are gonna be interesting. I'm sure that Toast will love that Hippo can follow him around and spam that chop command all the time.
Yeah, I do like that pick overall. I think that San Francisco's settling in after sort of a rebuilding calendar year. After Grape and Daft left, I think HLO's kind of stabilized that franchise, put them in a pretty good spot. They've got a solid roster now, but they've got enough young pieces to sort of match for continued success. And I think Habs fan kind of fits that, especially how he's expressed, desire to get more engaged with his J team and with his SHL team.
I think defense was one of those spots that San Francisco, if you could say that they really had these spots to really work on.
Mm-hmm.
So this definitely fits it up nicely.
I can agree with that.
Super nice guy.
Oh yeah, yeah. We both have him in Sweden.
Yeah, very active in there. Also, I'm obligated to point out that per Wheel of Time standards, it is not Randall.
And that's Randall Thor.
You cannot pronounce it Randall.
It's Randall Thor.
Sopath made me say that.
Part of my joy is just intentionally playing into these names. But our pick from Edmonton is also in, and Ham will be happy to know that it is also a Newfoundland boy, and that is Vic03 Valters Denisova. As I said, another Newfoundland boy following a small pipeline that's sort of formed with Soda being out there. Another one of the top rookie scorers, picked right at the end of the first round by Ham. Ham, what struck you from this first gen as somebody that you really wanted to bring into Newfoundland?
I don't know how you describe it. You see people who are excited. You hope that they come to enjoy the site and community as much as each of us did. We've spent way too much time on this, and that was their immediate reaction. Is like, hey, I could do all of my assignments, all of my college work, or whatever he's working on. Instead, he decided to write media. So that was
so deeply resonated with you, of course.
Exactly, procrastinating on real life responsibilities for fake hockey and sleep tested, and I'm sure a lot of us can connect with that, saying that, you know what, this is one of us. It's clearly one of us. Yeah, it's been awesome though, just having him and FO have this. I don't know how to describe it. You just have to read their media. It's just I don't even want to do anything like injustice in trying to describe how it is. But again, I've said this before. But Vic, your mother and I are proud of you.
Yeah, I definitely like the pick for Edmonton. Boom has a trait of picking really high character people. From what I heard from my scouts and from what I've heard from other people in the J, Vic's definitely one of those standout people. So I like this pick a lot. We'll slide to Baltimore before getting over to Minnesota, who traded down from 6. Any players you think are going to slip under the radar? Obviously, some of you have SHL teams that you're not wanting to spoil their drafts, but is anybody you think going to slide a bit too far for who they are?
This goes back to my skewed perspective thing. I think all of them are amazing.
No, of course. The Baltimore pick is in, and that is the winger Sam Aja, Aja 59 out of Detroit. Their early second round pick, somebody who definitely showed up in a thin class. You're like looking for those second round guys to really stand out for you. And I think they knocked it out of the park here. Has been one of probably someone that Scani has really appreciated having in the organization as he's taken charge of everything. I wouldn't pay much mind to the stats. Both, like, obviously, Detroit was in a rebuilding season. You can't really hold that against the players, but also that the J stats don't really influence the SHL decision making at all per se. You may be able to get a feel for like what the user wants the player to be, but you could also just get that by asking them.
Yeah, I think that's that's one of the main differences with the actual real life draft is no matter how good or how bad your player is, stats wise, it doesn't mean anything basically. Even TP levels, as long as you're earning decently, more often than not, people will go for the character in the locker room. So, having 4 goals, 8 assists, that's just as well.
I forgot to change the YouTube stream title. Oops. We're on fire today. But that is now fixed. And Ham has his third Newfoundland player in the top 10 as this all closes out. The pick from Minnesota is in, and that is Buck Keithley, Mczearl 85 out of Newfoundland, the highest TPE UDFA at this point. Obviously, we were all scrapping and fighting over UDFAs. Ham, how's Buck been since he got into your locker room?
It's pretty nice when you have Agent Rashford on the case. I'm sure that Dirt and everybody else at Finland has greatly appreciated his efforts. Like, he definitely deserves a bit of a shout out, for his work put in for his SHL team, his IHF team, and J team. But on to Buck here. You know what? It's interesting because there's some people who you'll kind of feel their presence on the site or on the locker room, and you can kind of gauge how involved they are with everything. While you don't hear that from Buck as much, he's just constantly grinded. Seeing the TP list and just seeing how much he's surpassed everybody else who's got a head start on him. Mm-hmm. Catch up TP aside, I don't know. You really need that enjoyment and dedication. I think his time on site is also just greatly surpassed most people, even a lot of the recreates still. So honestly, he seems like he's really enjoyed it. I'm so glad for him that he is.
Nice. Thank you. Enjoy your checkout line or what I'm doing right now.
I'm like carrying 24 cans of AHA with one arm, and I mean, I had to also move a bunch of them just so I could get the ones that had like the one free movie pass with it. But yeah, there you go. That's what I'm up to.
I enjoy this. Is just starting to go into the grocery store with Ham. But yeah, definitely exciting to see a UDFA crack the top 10 of a draft class. Like outside of like Bojo, I don't really think you've seen a UDF get up that high. So that's definitely a standout thing. We're off to New England, where we have another new GM taking over. This one, a established SHL GM turned co-commissioner turned SHL GM. Luke has taken over in New England after the departure of Kenvald, and he, with his first overall pick, has taken, or first pick, not first overall pick, 11th overall pick. There's a lot of ones. 11th overall pick, his first pick as SHL GM. He has taken Ivan Laximus, Thief of Cheese out of Detroit. One of the top guys in rookie TPE. Was somebody that was definitely on our radar at 10, back when Detroit was picking 1. Obviously, Detroit wanted to bring him in. Absolute stand-up guy. We have Wuma in Carolina, and they get along really well, and could not say enough good things about Thief. Has just been a valuable member of the community for a while now. So Thief has expressed like some concerns of how active he'll be able to stay. But I think that like getting an established guy, you got $20 million in the bank, like he has time to do his real life things as well as continue to develop Laximus and hopefully be a contributor down the line for New England. And then we will be back to Toronto because they have back-to-back picks, 2 of their 4 first-round picks this class. Obviously, it sucks, and like you don't like. There's nothing like against Wally, but like as new GMs come in and some of the older guys on the team get ready to make next steps in their career. Obviously, they've been good to Wally and given him opportunities to get draft capital out of this. Toronto already had some draft capital, so they are pulling together a couple different pieces and really making a new, fresh, young core with this. The first of those picks is in somebody that I'm personally a huge fan of out of Great Falls. That is Brian Bretzky Fetchwell. Somebody that I just loved getting to talk to in the J Draft scouting. Probably would have been my top choice at 10 overall if I had the chance. Did any of you guys also get to talk to him in your scouting processes?
I did.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did. We probably all did. Very interesting talks with for first gen. You see that the motivation was there, and as you can see, not quite at the top of the TP, but that's always something I'm looking for. Is if you're not a top earner, will you still be around? Will you still be there and just be a valuable presence as much as you can? And I think that's what Toronto is getting with Fetchwell.
Mm-hmm. He immediately struck me as a dude that I was terrified of Ham sniping me on. Specifically, I thought like if I stayed at 10 and he was like at 9, Ham would trade up to 9 to get him. It's just like you have like one of those personalities that you can immediately pick up on. Like, yeah, you're gonna make like good friends in this league, and you're like a like engaging personality, and like that obviously terrifies a GM the farther you are down on the draft board. You're like, I like this guy. How am I gonna get him to follow me?
Isn't that the worst part when you like a person's like, please, I hope, everybody else has a different opinion, but
yeah, but you know that they don't.
Yep, everybody likes him for a reason. We're all like a lot, again, really similar in a lot of ways. But same thing. He was definitely on that list. I think he was recruited by Yosh.
Yeah.
So we were definitely looking at him in that like early first round. Didn't get around to it. I didn't personally talk to him until this draft.
Okay.
It was wild because, like Jarrett said, it's his TP's not there, but between being like a sim league newbie, virgin, I don't know how to describe it, he's being new to sim leagues. I know we popped his cherry. He ended up joining, I think, like 3 other sim leagues afterwards. So it's clear we got the hook.
Yeah.
So all that's left is going to see how far he can go with it.
Mm-hmm. Nah, he's definitely somebody that like when we were sitting there with LAP had 13 overall, I think. I was like, if we're staying here or we're moving up a couple spots, this is who I want. But also we just like assumed that like we mapped out our boards and I'm like, this guy's just not gonna be here probably. And that was like kind of the go signal to get out of this draft again. Like just like a absolutely wonderful to engage with. Like getting Bad Wolf and Fetch in the same draft is already great for Wally. We'll move on to the back-to-back pick, and that would be another Detroit player, actually, another player not super high in TP, but a definite standout name as far as who they are, and that would be Mrs. McSave's Mama B. The blurb would be wrong, did not sign as a UDFA with Detroit. That was a error on my part, because they were recently traded in the transition of power for Scane to take over Detroit. He also brought over his partner in Mrs. McSave's, and she is actually moving to forward this offseason and will be a center for the Falcons and then for Toronto for the next year or so, next year or two.
This is a steal, honestly.
Have you gotten to talk to her a lot?
Yeah. We chat.
Some good old girl talk.
I think this is a steal that maybe you can credit Carpy for.
Okay. I'm very curious to that one, but we'll see if Jess is able to divulge anymore.
No, I know that Carpy has been doing a lot of heavy lifting in Toronto.
Okay.
Throughout this whole process.
Yeah, so had a lot of the scouting ready for Wally when he came in. That makes sense. Now, Carpy, super dedicated to that organization. Nice to see that he's getting that team quickly stabilized with Wally. But we'll see. I want to see, like, obviously not every partner's going to like engage with the league the same way that like Bad Wolf and TDZ did. And obviously, like, you've got people like Kaya and Ships. But it'll be nice to see both of them in Detroit for a little while before they go off on their separate climbs to the SHL. And with Toronto over on their back-to-back picks, we will head over to Tampa Bay for another one of their picks. And that would be the rookie who's all over the forums today, at least. Potentially a high-value pickup here later in the first round, and that would be D-Hoop out of Anaheim. Up there in TPE and ice time for rookie forwards. Like we said, thin class, you could absolutely see a steal here.
You could say that.
What do you guys think of? Obviously, I'm not trying to throw shade at Hoop. But to have a lot of talk about, and obviously there's people from Anaheim that have come in and defended him and his locker room presence. What do you guys think of Romanov doing a quote riskier move in the first round as a new GM?
Choose to not comment on that.
That's fair.
I mean, I don't know the user enough to comment much on that. We did have a guy when I was part of Colorado whose name was his player's name was also very polarizing, political, and he was actually a great guy in the locker room before he went inactive. That was Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah.
So, you can't. I don't want to go live on stream and say stuff about someone I don't know enough.
Yeah. No, and obviously, I don't think that, like, and you have guys that like have had, pasts of like, varying political beliefs that rub a lot of people the wrong way or anything like that. You've had those people turn into like contributing members of the community, so I'm not like going to like entirely rule that out. I think that putting them in a locker room with people that I know are pretty strong character guys is honestly a better match than most. And then I like this pick overall, as far as like if Hoop ends up being a like long-standing member of the community, I think that Tampa is a team that would happen with.
Yeah, there's something to be said about, again, that nature of having a controversial name or just a controversial person, because it's I don't know how to like whether you stand for whether it's a joke, whatever you want to describe it. It's just ended up being this almost lightning rod for a bunch of other stuff that, from a team perspective, it's almost like like in real life, right? If someone's got all these surrounding them, do you really want to bring that onto your organization, the level of
Yeah.
reputation, whether or not it's accurate? But yeah, it becomes really, really iffy to try to deal with.
Yeah, and like an established team like Tampa is a better spot for that than a team that is like working on defining an identity, like either like in the middle of like a rebuild or a transition period or anything like that. We are off to Buffalo though for the 15th overall pick, and that is out of Kelowna. Balls time, Mczearl Jr., the longtime user Chris McZ. GM of a few teams. Current player has split the rookie scoring title. Obviously, somewhat polarizing player again, but Buffalo is another one of those organizations that has a knack for finding value in those players. I think that McZee will find a good spot in this organization, honestly. I guess you guys are all new. Jess, you're not, but not as new as the rest of us. McZee's time goes like way back before any of ours, though.
Yeah.
Like he was a long time guy in LAP when I first ended up there. Like he's been around the block and then some. Definitely not a like flame out concern of any means. I think this could, like, similar to a couple other Buffalo picks, be a really good value pickup at the end of this first round. And then we will head over to Chicago, who, I realize this like as the draft's been going on, but you guys were all in Chicago as recently as like 3 seasons ago, which is moderately entertaining to me, at least. I don't know.
It's I don't know, for a team that when I look back and being drafted in like season 53 and kind of being like, oh, I don't know a lot of these people, and oh, like it's not Newfoundland. What is this? This feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
I love it, just being able to have met a lot of people like Jess and like Jared. Yeah, more and more people that on.
I think myself, and Jess. I mean, you say it's not Newfoundland, but it's much more Newfoundland than it was Colorado for me.
Yeah, Jared, you ended up in Newfoundland 2.0.
And I mean, I love every single one of these people, and I left for completely unrelated reasons, but that's another story.
Yeah, Ham made you leave. It's okay. The Chicago pick is in, though, and that is Dave Heinrich, user Tesla, out of Jess's Nevada Battleborn. Obviously, Tesla was another one of those UDFAs that we fiercely battled over. Was happy and unhappy to see them end up with you, Jess, but probably couldn't have chose a better team for that to happen with.
Aww. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Amazing user, just one of the nicest people I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, could not be happier for her and Chicago.
I know that Nevada and Newfoundland were some of the places that she was seriously considering in terms of signing. So
yeah,
it's actually share a team with her in the SHL. I'm looking forward to it because I've only caught bits and pieces either from what other people have talked about or like just like small interactions. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to spending more time with her.
Mm-hmm. No, Carolina was also apparently in those ranks of possibilities, but it's, I mean, when you've got a lot of good salespeople pitching their J teams, it's tough bidding for sure. But yeah, no, absolute standout user. Like everybody in Carolina was raving about her. I'm sure like most people that are like multi-league people have crossed paths or at least know of her. Great pickup for Chicago here, and it makes a lot of sense when you consider like the core of Chicago that's still there, like Ham and Corey and J&H and all that. Nauer is here, which can only mean one thing.
You know what it means. So here to announce another trade. We've got the upcoming pick here, 17th overall, being traded. So Tampa is going to be sending it away to New England. New England, in return, is sending 19th. So they're swapping 17 and 19. And then New England is also going to be sending their S66 second, which they reserve the option to slide to S67 ahead of the S66 draft.
Okay.
I'll also include, just so you guys can update your draft board, that so far Manhattan and Edmonton are finished. They've passed now.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Nauer. Tampa Bay, the experts in moving back to picks, at it again. And that would be... Who did we say was moving up for that? I already forgot.
New England.
New England, thank you. So Luke and Bromanov, the new GMs, making a deal happen. And we will wait a second for that pick to come. As we will go ahead and get this draft board updated. There it is.
I think that's pretty good value for Tampa Bay for moving 2 picks back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a pretty small risk. Like, the risk is definitely there that you might miss out on the person that you're trying to take at 17, but there's substantial value in getting a second regardless of the conditions on it. But that pick is in, and that is the rookie TPE leader among goalies, Everett Jansen. Sir Jansen's out of Detroit. A end of the second, had to do the mental math real quick. End of the second pick by Detroit to pick up a goalie. Has turned into a reliable starter for them and should be the starter for the at least 1A, 1B starter for the next 3 to 4 seasons. Great pickup there, I think. Especially with, like, I don't know how much you guys follow it, obviously probably a little bit, but how the change in league structure and warning people about creating goalies has kind of created a goalie shortage at this point, which is definitely upping the value of getting a reliable goalie regardless of what their TP. Like, obviously 254 is not a high TPE goalie, but getting somebody that can be a reliable goalie is incredibly valuable for the future for New England.
Yeah,
I was wondering because, I was just gonna say, like, a lot of mocks have goalies, or first goalie pick in the second round, and I think that you could argue that, hey, there's enough skaters that you could finish out the rest of the first and then picking a skater. But that really is a good point. With how few goalies that there seem to be, if you can find a good one, you're really just fighting everybody for it.
Mm-hmm. And, like, goalies have, like, a long career longevity, but, like, even with the limited number of spots, you need to make sure that you can fill that with somebody. You want to put somebody there that's going to continue to provide value for you, and not just some inactive or anything like that. So I can definitely get on board with picking a goalie in the first still. I think that getting somebody that, like, Detroit has chosen, hey, they're going to be the starter and they'll be a 1A, 1B for the next couple seasons, it would provide you with somebody that's regularly engaged with the league, and that has a lot of value, I think. Like, you have a higher chance of having somebody that's going to produce at the SHL level at that point.
Yeah, and looking at New England, right now it's Leo Bloomfield, season 54. So he's going to start regressing hard with the new rules, and then they have nothing really coming up. They have one backup inactive and one prospect that's also inactive. So they really needed that right now.
No, I definitely really like it. I think it's a solid move out of Luke, especially because like Bloomy's 54, gonna be starting to fall off a little bit, and obviously Jansen will be set, especially if Luke ends up doing a bit of a retool himself. This will be a perfect opportunity to put a solid goalie with potentially Luke's recreate and a core that he's building up right now. We'll flash back to the board. We'll see that Toronto is up for their 4th pick of the first round. They've certainly been busy, making a bunch of picks that I think we've all really agreed on have been some high value picks. We'll see if they can continue that for the end of the first round. And obviously Tampa's sweating bullets now. That would be Dracocar Sinazo, the user Vic out of Anaheim, the other Vic out of Anaheim. Vic being a long-standing, a long-time SHL user, has started to get involved with the WSBL. Had to step away from everything for a little bit recently, but seems back and fully ready to earn and contribute on another player. I think 280 TPE, considering that they might not have been around to update the last couple week or two, definitely stands out as a lot of value later in the first round.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick for the end of that first round with that class. Obviously, at the end of the first round, you're not gonna get maybe not the next cornerstone for your franchise, but that's gonna be a good asset to have in Toronto with the other ones they picked up earlier in that round.
Mm-hmm. Nah, I like this pickup with. I like all 4 of Toronto's picks. I think with the options available, I think you're doing a very good job here. Like, obviously a known personality and good to get early in the first round by Anaheim has lived up to that expectation, hitting close to 300 TPE, has a solid bank. You know what you're getting out of him. Pretty solid pick here, I think. We'll bounce back to Tampa, who's on the clock after trading down 2 places. I guess we won't know if Vic was on Tampa's board, but they might be sorely disappointed. I know that they were in Tampa with one of their past players. That pick is
I'm not
in.
talking much, and I apologize. It's because my child is being put to bed in the next room, and she's having an absolute meltdown.
Understandable, honestly. Like, I also hate being told when it's time to go to bed. The Tampa Bay pick is in, and that is Dexter Kirk, Nadex out of Vancouver. And obviously we're seeing, like, the smaller class means that we're hitting like mid TPE levels a little bit quicker, and that's not to discount the quality of player that you're getting. I think it's pretty obvious at this point now with the new salary cap rules that everybody is like, you have to have like a couple people that don't max earn just to field a quality roster. So you're obviously on the lookout for high character people that can fill that mid earning role. Negs was apparently going to be one of those for in Carolina and Texas before he started earning a little bit more. I know Tampa has one right now in Jerickson. They like provide a lot of locker room value, and they provide a solid player at a specific cap space that makes it a lot easier to build a complete roster. So that's not to discount anybody that's not at a high TP level. I think that there's a lot of value to be had, especially in a social game like this. Like character pickups like Nadex are really valuable additions to a team, and like just because we're near the back end of a draft board doesn't mean that we should like not pay attention to these people.
Yeah, and I mean that's what Jert was supposed to be at the beginning. When I created Jert, I was like, oh, he's gonna be defensive center. I'm gonna do some ACs and a few PDs here and there. Because I think, as you said, that's really something that you need on a team. A team, you can't have everyone be a superstar. You need some people to just be there and support them. So that
and honestly, like you have like the supporting cast players, but if you put them around like the good, like you put them around like 1800 2K TP players, they turn into good players still. Like it's just like you're able to like really maximize their value by having them on your team.
Yeah, sometimes you need to have the best third center, the best third liner in the league. Is better than the fourth best or fifth best second liner.
Yeah. All right, we will bounce over to the recently mentioned Texas Renegades, the Challenge Cup champions of this past season, to carry us out of the first round. Obviously, there's still some very valuable players left on the board. Anybody standing out to you guys as we put that on the board right now? Wildfire Micro obviously stands out. Multi-sim league user, 300 TPE. Nadex just got taken. Vodka, a solid recreate. BBP, another solid recreate. There's definite value here going into the second round.
Yeah, I've seen Wildfire Micro a bit because he's in Finland, and he's been around. He's not on the IIHF roster yet, obviously, but he was around, or they were around, for watching the games when we went to win that gold medal. Brag. So. Really, that's one that really stands out for me, to see that he's not been taken yet.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I will go through and find a player card real quick because something doesn't seem to be working out. Having to manually get this pick ready to go. Apologies for that radio silence real quick.
I do like that I can go grocery shopping, come back home, and the draft is still going.
Honestly, do you expect anything else out of the SHL at this point?
I really didn't. I mean, when you asked me, I was like, oh, I'm at work, but I'm sure I can make it because, let's face it, how long is this going to go for?
I mean, part of that's my fault because I made this far more complicated than it ever used to be. But
I really wish at some point we see a podcast for or some sweet SHL box that is just Ham talking about the SHL while he's grocery shopping.
I can get more with that.
I think I promised Newfoundland that I'd do like a live stream while I go to Costco one time or something, but it never works out. I think we've seen Juke go for McDonald's or something, and what else? Yeah, other people go for walks. Yeah.
Andre just live streaming himself playing the recorder at a local grocery store.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Our pick from Texas is in. I had to go dig up the card real quick. The numbers are incorrect because I had to pull it from last year's class, but this is Edward Higginsby. Oh, come on. Oh, there it is. Edward Higginsby, King Tag 1999 out of Detroit. Was undrafted in this past draft class, which is why I had to go dig up the draft card. Can anybody tell me the current TPE potentially? They signed as a UDFA in Detroit near the end of the season, and have started
Current
to...
TPE is 272.
272, excellent. Good job on to Puoli and the Texas crew for digging that up. And honestly, props to King Tag for grinding through this off season and this past season, waiting to get drafted. Always, really like to see that happen.
Also, shout out to Puoli for winning, what is it, the SHL Challenge Cup, as well as getting Finland to gold.
You're not besmirched dirt here.
I'm gonna take offense to that.
All I heard is that he was helping out. So
he did help out a lot with, especially the lines when we had to submit quickly after Christmas. I was gone for Christmas and didn't have my laptop, so we just submitted legal lines that wouldn't lose any games.
And instead
so what I'm hearing is that Puoli won Finland IHF while working against you.
Listen, I was talking to Jert the whole time he was testing for that final game, and he put the work in.
Yeah, he definitely did a great job putting us to the finals, but we were not winning that finals. That final game, that gold medal, before I switched the...
You had to step in and really clean things up. Yeah, all right. So, yeah, there you go. Jert absolutely deserves credit too. Is this your first IHF or second now?
It's my second. We won the bronze against you last season and now gold. So it's going pretty well.
Remind me of that.
But it's going better than how it went with my SMJHL team this season. But to get back to Edward Higginsby, really love seeing that in the just popping off in the SHL, popping up, should I say, in the SHL main channel today, and seeing Texas going to take that chance on him and giving him basically a second chance. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Hello, Nauer. Welcome back.
Hola. Thank you guys for having me again. So I'm not here to announce a trade this time. Just updating on the state of the passes thus far as the first round has come to a close. The following teams are finished. They're not going to be doing any more drafting tonight. I believe I announced Manhattan and Edmonton last time,
yes.
But Tampa Bay, Chicago, Atlanta, Montreal, Philadelphia, and San Francisco are all joining them as well.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Yeah. And as we mentioned, some of those teams are definitely teams that didn't have a second round pick and just don't expect anybody to be there anymore. But obviously a small bit of reflection of how small this draft class truly was. Our next pick is in from Winnipeg to kick off the second round, and Jesus Christ, I hate this job sometimes. Tiketsertalk Tautungi. Grey Goose Vodka, recently mentioned, 283 TPE out of Nevada. Jess, tell me more.
You got Jess to pronounce that name.
I'm not going to pronounce it. We call him TT.
Okay.
So, Vodka is somebody that Alaris actually scouted before he was technically my co. And was an absolute steal that we picked up in the 3rd round of, as you have mentioned, a shallow J draft seeded a shallow SHL draft. And like has earned pretty well. Been a little quiet lately, like we all have over the holidays, I think. But yeah, definitely way more active and involved than you would expect from a 3rd rounder in a draft like this. So yeah, thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were honestly pretty quiet when they created in the last player that they created. I'm glad that they have found a nice home in Nevada. I think Winnipeg's getting a pretty good value here, especially considering like that they're bringing in now both Jess and somebody that Jess picked up, which is a nice little pipeline to be building. We will head back to the board. We'll look at who's really available. Like we said, BBP stands out. Duke Marriott has another player. Ruijo has another player. Cuffy's still up there. We will update the teams that have passed, maybe. Let's see if these will update for us. Chicago, Atlanta, okay. The next pick is in for New England, and that is out of St. Louis. Rolf Kornhone, Wildfire Micro. As we mentioned just a little bit ago, stand-up dude. Who's been around the block a few times in different sim links, obviously getting good value there. Knows how to earn, knows how to contribute a lot, and definitely has the potential to turn into a really good value pick for New England here.
I want to say that they had a play that was previously on New England.
Oh, were they last on New England?
I have to follow up on this, not think about it.
Are you lying to me?
I'm just going to spew, they're not even facts, just opinions.
Okay.
Yeah, I think their last player, Jack Micro. I feel like it.
I think that's right.
Okay.
I think that's right.
Your useless trivia of the day.
Thank you. So yeah, we will head back to the board. Where Toronto is once again on the clock. We'll see if they can continue their trends of picking up high-value players. First round's over. What was your guys' biggest surprise? I know we had mentioned Bad Wolf not being top 3. Anything notably stand out? And while you guys think about that, I will go ahead and announce the next St. Louis character to be taken, and that is BBP, Konstantin Strelka, out of St. Louis, as I just said. I think another like mid TPE guy that'll be super valuable to build a roster around. I know BBP a little bit from their time because like I'm just in a lot of locker rooms. Valuable member of San Francisco's locker room at one point. I think Wally's finding a lot of good picks out of this draft.
Yeah, his last player was meant to be a full-on goon. Unfortunately, the SHL as it is just couldn't support that role.
They can't handle the goon.
And they really couldn't. He had no opponents, right? Fighting's gone down in this league, and it's a shame that we're phasing out players like that. So
yeah, league's just full of cowards.
It's just not the same physical game back in the day when men were men.
Oh, Lord.
When will toxic masculinity retake over the SHL? Come on.
I think we're working on it bit by bit.
I
That's the
think we
BTP.
should, I think we should make Jess responsible of bringing back toxic masculinity.
Head of the committee. There we go.
Just the head of bringing back toxic masculinity.
That seems like a great fit for me.
Honestly, I think it would be a really good fit. Unironically, you would ensure that nothing gets done.
That's true. I could just filibuster the entire thing.
we need people like that in high impact positions. Our next pick is in from Baltimore, and that would be Bubba Tree, aka Bubba Tree. $5 if you can figure out which one I said first. The 271 TPE winger out of Detroit was a second-round draft pick for them. Played a huge role for the organization. I overall like this. Picking up another Detroit guy, obviously going to be pretty valuable. These two guys now know each other in Baltimore, so that's definitely nice to have. But we'll swing back to your guys' first surprises. I think mine is honestly Tesla falling to 16. Just based on like character of the user, I would have thought that she would have gone higher.
Yeah, I think we were pretty convinced like she wasn't going to fall down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure how it just did.
I wonder how much of it was people just assuming already having other picks in mind.
Like honestly, like we joke about that, but I think that legitimately might be the case. Like you just like scout other people you think are going to be there, and you get dialed in on that one, and you kind of like not necessarily overthink, but you're not prepared for some of these people to be available when the time comes.
Yeah, and then you've already committed to somebody else, and
Yeah,
don't
and
wanna, like,
not even like hard committed, but you're like really liking the idea of bringing them in.
yeah.
You kind of just like ride with that instead. It makes sense. But yeah, we are off to our next pickup, and that is the Calgary Dragons with their first pick of the night, and that is Hank Stopper, Taco Cat 2, out of Great Falls, the highest TPE UDFA goalie, I guess I can say. Came in as the UDFA, was a backup for Great Falls, balled out there, earned well despite being a UDFA. And with the departure of Wally to Toronto, could honestly see them making an impact in Calgary a lot sooner than otherwise expected. Which obviously has to be super promising for somebody coming in like pretty fresh to the league, seeing an opportunity to, you're going to be more incentivized to earn knowing that you can have an impact at the SHL level that much quicker.
Yeah, Calgary does have a goalie that's on the younger side of the...
Yeah, they have Vicky and Rosa, but like you're like automatically going to identify like an opportunity to step up and be a backup. You're going to get called up now somewhat frequently, I think. Our next New England pick is in now, and that would be Alex Nunez, another St. Louis Scarecrow. Was a end of the second pick for them and has steadily earned, although hasn't been able to earn a whole lot. I do remember briefly getting to talk with them and enjoying my talks, but I think Luke's doing a good job of acquiring solid people that he can bring into the locker room and potentially encourage them along the path to the SHL.
Yeah, these are people that will be able to fill in different role.
Yeah, for sure. And like, you're not going to want to like risk fifth season on a lot of these guys, but if New England's taking, the slow ride back into this, like this gives Nunez a chance to like grow and develop at the SHL level before really putting high demands on them. And we are back to Buffalo for their second pick of the draft at 30th overall. What are your guys' other big surprises for the draft?
9th overall to Baltimore. Not because I don't think they're deserving anyway. It wasn't a name that I had heard or seen a lot in mocks, or just kind of considered it raised as being in that first round in general, I think. So the fact that they got recognition from JR to be worthy of that pick, I think JR's done enough that
you're not going to question
JR.
it.
I was going to say JR of the year. I mean, he is JR of the year, but GM of the year. I don't think anybody could really question this stuff he's done between the trades and now with the drafting of having his class develop the way that it is. Like I think you've said it, the next top contender for the cup, and probably going to be for quite a few seasons.
Yeah. The next pick is in from Buffalo, and that is my favorite art piece done by my events team this year, Bilbo Baggins, Jester John, 250 TPE, the Great Falls Grizzlies first round pick. Was a DFA, has like, honestly, I really like them. They're a buddy of my boy Roddy. Really fun guy to talk to. Was unlucky enough to not be able to draft them. But I think Buffalo's fighting a quality guy here for sure. But also, like, look at the hockey stick.
Every time I see that name, somehow my brain thinks it's Thunder's player for a little second, because Jester John, Jaeger Jones.
Yeah.
I just get confused a lot, but yeah, that's all I had to say.
That stick is so subtle.
Yeah, John's actually a really cool dude to talk to. We had definite plans to bring him into Carolina, and I was unhappy that we couldn't. It turns out he interviews really well, and other teams also picked up on that.
Please, he was recruited by Murr?
Was it Murr?
I want to say so.
I thought Roddy recruited him. Because I thought the two that Murr recruited both didn't pan out.
I think that's right.
Anyway, our next Calgary pick is in at 31 overall. Brent Ash the second, NHL Beast Mode 77. 77. My favorite game in the class. Low hanging fruit. Another guy out of Great Falls, still actively earning. But again, filling out that role position player, you can definitely see them being somebody that you can stick on the ice with, one of your other young guys that's max earning in a couple seasons and have that really take off. Like Beast Mode's been around the block once before with Brent Ash the first. Not terribly unhappy with this pick, I don't think.
Yeah, he always seems like this huge ball of energy coming to the J draft, like somebody that's super excited in this whole experience. So I hope that this time around it follows through and you can see more of it just continue long term.
Mm-hmm. I will at this point spoil this and say My apologies to Pingu Dinger. You are the 32nd draft pick to New England, but I do not have a card for you. I can make that up, and I will post that in the draft thread sometime later tonight. My condolences, though. I was grossly unprepared.
Absolutely unprepared.
With that, we will move to the 33rd overall pick, and that is Seattle on the clock. Let me go confirm that. We actually don't have that card.
No, I just threw the team one in there. I figured you maybe show that.
Yeah. Yeah. My apologies. I will get that posted at the end. You should get to see your name up there. We have Seattle on the clock, though. And it is somebody near and dear to us, of course. But Seattle has chosen Chilios Jr., Kev 411. Was the rookie shot block leader. One of Jert's friends who passed away in an accident back in mid-December at this point. Jert has listed the family's GoFundMe in the memorial post on the forum, but it's good to see that Kev's player and name will live on a little bit longer in the SHL. He'll be a send down for a little bit, and then Jert will be able to keep him around for a while.
Yeah, that's just such a great move from Tig. I really appreciate that. I'm sure all the guys at work that worked with Kev and I will also like. I talked to the guys at work about the SHL a lot, and I think showing them that there's this kind of support, and I've seen a lot of people from the league giving to the GoFundMe, even if Kev hadn't been around a lot. So that's really a great show of support from everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's moving really, and the shot block leader is just it's exactly what he wanted when he built that player with 15 in shot blocking from the get-go.
Yeah.
So that's yeah.
I mean, obviously very tragic, but nice to see both the support from the community and from Seattle specifically. We'll move on to the 34th overall pick. And oh man,
I don't have a card for this one.
yeah, I'm realizing that now too. That is Max Payne, the user Pickle. Apologies again. I will have that one also posted.
This is a Nevada player here.
Is Pickle from Nevada?
Yeah, and he went undrafted last season. So
Okay.
I really
That explains it then.
He drafted this season. I'm excited for him, and hopefully he kept earning fairly well even after going undrafted last season. So I'm glad that was recognized and rewarded here.
Mm-hmm. No, then we do have the card. It'll have last year's stats on it, but it exists.
Yeah, his stats this year were much better.
Yeah. Thunder, if you could pop in the Winnipeg background.
Thought I did already.
Okay.
1 sec.
I mean, you might have. I don't see it, but it'll be there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it should be.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. And that is Max Payne out of Nevada to Winnipeg. A late round flyer for Nevada. A draft to go. Good to see that level of commitment to continue earning despite being a later draft pick and then going undrafted. Nice to see that that really burgeoning Nevada connection paying dividends already. Like, obviously Jess is, one of the people keeping Pickle engaged, and to see them end up together and all three of these Nevada people end up in Winnipeg's a definite win for Ace. And then we have a number of passes.
I'm here to announce them all. How's it going, everybody? So looking through it now, basically, to make it easy, every team save for Buffalo and Minnesota is going to be passing on the next couple of picks. So it's just down to those last two teams now. And as we close the draft, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and thank you to everybody here for your guys' excellent work every season streaming.
Of course, thank you, Nauer. We will go through and get the next pick ready for who's on the clock. Buffalo at 45.
No player card for this one. I have the background though.
Yeah, I'm just seeing if it was from the last draft. Like if they were undrafted and came back for another round. Because that seems like a Buffalo move. But no, this one I asked to make a card. Cool. And that would be Tim Thomas Aguido out of Anaheim, I want to say.
Colorado.
It was my second guess, I promise. It actually was, but yeah, I'll have that card made up and posted on the forum. So Aguido and what was that? Pinging. Stay tuned. I'm sorry. We are off to Minnesota for 46 overall. Please tell me I'm not totally incompetent.
You were not.
Awesome.
I can't promise you that, but I don't think that this applied.
I could just not say anything.
That's fair. Luke is also confirming that he thought it was Pingy. He told me not to make a card. Okay. This is the one. Okay. So 46 overall is Gray Rossi, Blue 52, who is, I believe, fringe inactive, but was online earning somewhat recently. That card also needs to be made, as does the 55th and 60th picks from Buffalo. That would be Jack Cuffy and Duke Marriott's recreate La Carpeton Duke Marriott II. And that will wrap up the actual picks this draft.
Just want to say and shout out Blue Blood for having the best J interview, just dunking on Patty. That's all that.
Wait, what? Tell me more.
I'll tell you about it later. But just know he's a legendary person and Newfoundland for that alone.
You have to
So
tell me later too.
okay, we'll share some stuff later. Sorry, Pat.
As we will go ahead and finish out the draft board. And get that loaded up for you guys. Oh, that broke. Jesus Christ. Oh no. What'd you do?
What happened? What? I don't know. I broke something
I
apparently.
think we fixed it. Yeah, okay, I know what happened. The sheet just broke for a second. It's fine. Apparently my sheet breaks if every team has passed.
Very cool.
Very cool. Good job, man.
Remember that for next time.
Not totally incompetent, I promise. Highly skilled at this, don't worry. This one works. I don't know why. There you go. But yeah, apologies for the massive technical lapses today, apparently. Congratulations to everybody with your new teams. It was obviously a short draft, which I think we all greatly appreciate. But it has been a pleasure having you all join us tonight. Thank you, Jess and Ham and Jert, for providing such valuable insights. I appreciate you guys joining me on such short notice. Thank you, of course, Thunder, for doing everything on the back end. HO for giving us the capabilities to do this, and for the GMs on, I guess, making picks. Good job, guys. The 5 of us will be back in action next weekend as we do the SMJHL draft. That will be hosted by the lovely Jimmy Smo and Granny Pan. And yeah, until then, have a good cap to your weekend. Thank you guys for coming out.
Good night, everybody. Happy New Year.
See you, everyone.
Yeah.